everybody? You are now tuned in to StarCHaser Central, a podcast about Charles Hampton music moments and everything in between. I'm Sick Braxton, and my voice is nearly gone.
Hey man, you know what would help you? Some water. Make sure you always drink water, hydrate yourself. Also, I am Mike D. Jackson. What's going on, y'all?
Oh man, how you doing, man? How are you doing this week? And
Go ahead, man, because I should have opened this earlier and I didn't. So, but I'm seriously.
do you have anything to say about your? Is there any word from a sponsor today?
No, there's no word. What I did want to bring up, because I'm gonna just beat you to the punch because you're taking too long. So I basically just came back from the greatest injury of all time. Serious note, not a crazy injury. And this is not sponsored by Celsius. This is not because this I know what you're gonna do. You're gonna go, oh man, it's that Celsius that helped you out. Yeah, no, that's not what that is.
Okay.
Seriously though, last week I was at work and I don't know what it was. I picked up something, maybe I moved too fast, my lower back felt a little funny. I'm like, but it's cool. I'm gonna go lay down when I get home, put some ice on it, put some heat on it, be
Mhm.
straight. Um, it did not get better. It was so bad where I couldn't go to work Thursday or Friday, and I've
Ooh.
never called out of work because of that. And I got worried. I'm like, bro, what is going on? I'm assuming I probably just like pinched a nerve or something like that, but
Mhm.
that's my first time ever dealing with that. Like literally the pain was so bad, and I remember I was just like, oh my God, so bad. Literally, I was afraid to even leave the house Friday. I didn't even go out. I go out on weekends. Didn't even go out on a Friday night.
Oh
Stayed home.
yeah, it was bad, man.
Yeah, so I was, and then my supervisor was like, "Hey man, when you coming back to work?" I'm like, "I think I should be good Saturday." And I was so nervous Saturday. I was good Saturday.
Yeah.
I was up, moving around, whole 8 hours, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm going out. I'm definitely going out." So, but yeah, uh, made the greatest recovery of all time. Similar like John Cena, you know what I mean? But we're not repping Cena today. We're repping Cody, Mr.
Nice,
Cody Rhodes. The
nice,
the adrenaline, that's what's really in my soul, not the Celsius. That's what's boosting me
nice.
today.
Uh, well, let me ask you this question, and just it's answer honestly. All right. Has Celsius liked any of your posts recently? Any story, post, anything recently? Can you, is that a yes or a no?
That's a yes, definite yes.
Oh,
And
oh,
also, let me ask you a question.
uh-huh.
How mad did you get when I sent it to you?
I wasn't that bad. I was very shocked though. I was very hyped that they did. I was like, oh shit. I immediately started thinking like we could probably lean into this and be able to get a sponsorship really quickly, but that would cause a lot more trouble than it's worth. So no, that I thought I ended it really quickly.
Yeah, thank you for doing that because long story short, all I did was like I posted those workout pictures and then I had a can of Celsius next to the gloves and they said, "Oh shit, okay, word." So I was like, "Hey," so that's
It's
all
gonna
that.
be fun. It's gonna be funny when we see that in a commercial. And you be like, damn, that look familiar.
I will say this: those pictures or something like that, and then like putting it on like their like Instagram or something. It's like, oh, true athletes use Celsius, and it's like, hold on, y'all. I'm not no real athlete. Bro, I just took a picture working out with some dumbbells. Come on, don't give me that much credit. Don't do that. Don't do that, man.
Oh man. Well, today we are here, man. Um we are here to actually announce the final two to our bracket, which we will do that later on in the episode. What a conversation that's going to be. Um, but before that, we have an even more interesting conversation to have in the first half of this episode. We are reviewing the tape that I brought to the forefront, and there's so much to talk about. We are listening to NHF.
Yes, sir. NHF for some people is going to be pretty interesting because there might be different names. So we're calling it NHF.
Mhm.
Online it's called NHF. There's people that call this tape the Behind the Lava Lamp. Not to get confused with the actual series that Charles and Corpy were doing, the video series that most of y'all probably won't be able to see because that stuff got taken down like 10 years ago. But this project is called NHF. Um, project came out late April 2011. And wow. It like you said, it's a lot. I'll be honest. Where do we even start with this one?
Let's just do what we normally do, and then we're just gonna peel back these layers slowly but surely. Um, like an onion, because onions make you cry. Do you remember the first time that you heard this tape?
Yes, I do. I definitely remember hearing this, and I'll be honest, didn't like it. I knew from the beginning. I was just like, yeah, nah, don't like this. And this was really, I don't know about everyone else, but I remember first time hearing it, I'm just like, yeah, I think Charles might have lost it. You know what I mean? Some of the stuff that he was saying on the songs, I'm like, bro, what is this? I don't, I didn't know. And um speechless, basically speechless. I'm like, what's
Yeah.
going on, man? What is this? What is this? You know? How about you?
Um, I remember it at one point somewhere, either around the pandemic or maybe a little bit before. I started a playlist and a little project where I was going through each Charles Hamilton tape, as many as I could find and remember, and just picking out, oh, let me pick my two favorite songs from each tape, and then make a playlist off of that. Um, a lot of tapes I was able to find like two songs and was like, yeah, let me pick this, let me pick this, let me pick this. There were some tapes that I know I went through and I was like, I don't know if I'm picking anything from here. This will be one of those tapes where I listened and I was like, nah, I don't think any of this is for me. Um, but at the same time, I wasn't doing deep dives on these songs. So this was we do a lot of research here as far as like having to do listen to the songs multiple times and try to, speak to them why we like, why we dislike, stuff like that. So I had to do that for this tape, and it was such an interesting experience.
Definitely. Another interesting experience that I'm glad I'm able to bring this back because it's been a while. But y'all remember the segment, what did the Star Chaser say? So we're able to bring it back.
Hmm.
So there's a lot of stuff in here. A lot of people that were talking about the tape and how they felt about it. So I'm gonna read a couple of them. First one that I saw, shout out to Mr. XB Xavier Benning. I think he just had a birthday recently too.
That was
Um
actually
he said so he said selfless plug. He said mixtape drops May 30th download. Also, I dig NHF. Shit, all right. Well, no, he said shit tight. Sorry, but shameless plug.
got to get it in, bro.
Yeah, pause. Hey, man.
You listened to this tape, right?
I did. Yeah, we'll
So
get there.
so pause, no pause. I don't know anymore.
Resume. All right, we'll resume. We got you. Um, Someone said, I love it for its disturbing content and dirty instrumentals. I think it's amazing. Um, there's been people saying, "Hey, this needs to be listened to with headphones, earbuds. It sounds so much better that way." And I think they're just saying like they like the grittiness, the rawness of it. They enjoy it. Um, so someone else said, it's great. Um, some of the stuff, the interesting stuff that's said on there, I guess they didn't mind it. Like it didn't bother them that much. Um, One person said, NHF is interesting. Another person, is everyone loving or hating the new tape? What's with all the messages? I need to hear it. So there's a lot of people just clamoring about it. So there's a lot of talk in 2011 about it. So like
Yeah.
there's fanfare for it. There's people that, weren't really sure what they felt about it. One person said, these beats on NHF are as awesome as STH2. Slept on another one of your projects, Mr. Hamilton. So I'm like, wow, it's a lot of praise because we just recently talked about STH2 and
Yeah.
how some people felt about it, and it's crazy. Um, oh, one thing I did want to mention because I did bring up Corpy and Charles. So
Mm,
one of the things that I did find out with this tape, the reason why the names and we weren't sure what we were going to be calling this.
mm,
So this tape when it was I guess being made and everything like that, Charles was going through his tough time, the whole jail, hospital stint and all that. So
mm,
Charles was away, and Corpy, his I guess position or his job was to keep the engagement up for Charles. So hey, let me make sure I keep Charles's name out there. And I think he went about it in the Corpy way. If y'all know who corporate is, Corpy, um, it's like sensationalized stuff.
mm.
So certain names, certain tags. Oh, check out this. Charles said this. Charles said that. Blah blah blah. Whatever. Apparently, um, I think this. Oh, the tagline we talked about, because I think this was originally called "Behind the Lava Lamp." I'm not gay. Apparently, that was like kind of like a dig at Lil B, because at the time Lil B had that "I'm Gay" album.
Hmm.
So that was like a thing for him to be like, oh, guess what? He's dissing Lil B, and it's like Charles doesn't even mention Lil B on here, but that's just
Right.
what Corpy was doing. So part of it's like, okay, that whole uh it's better than no publicity. Oh, good publicity, bad publicity. It's like for
Any
Charles, I'm like,
publicity.
I mean, he already had enough bad, but it's just like
Yeah.
I get what he was trying to do. So there's a lot of that going on. And then apparently there's certain names on songs that weren't supposed to be named a certain way, because that was Corpy, taking charge, I guess. Because
Hmm.
but yeah, that's another tidbit about that. So it's just like, man, I think that's where a lot of confusion came from. Of course, Charles cleared up some of this, so I can confirm that.
Yeah. Well, again, just gonna ease into this. No pause again. Resume. All resume today. Uh, the cover. Now, with it originally being called Behind the Lava Lamp, obviously we're getting lava lamp imagery. What did you think about the cover when you saw it?
So when I first saw this tape, I saw it's called Behind the Lava Lamp. I'm like, oh, another lava lamp. So I see when it's shorter, I only seen like 6 songs on here. So I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, okay. So maybe this is going to be like a prequel of some sort, like before the pink lava lamp.
Yeah.
It's like behind the lava lamp. You guys, before you get to the front of the lava lamp, you have to start at the back. You have to
Yeah.
start at the back. So I was like, it's a cool cover. I mean, it's pretty simple, but I liked it. I did like that cover. So I was just like, just made me just think, okay. And I know how some people feel where you know how you are, where you say, hey, if there's going to be a lava lamp series, or this is going to be a part 2 or a part 3, or you're going to be putting this with a group of other projects,
Hmm.
I'm going to look at it within that spectrum. So for
Yeah.
me, I was just like, it's interesting, but I did like the cover. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, if you're a Charles Hamilton fan, you can easily get uh what's the word I'm looking for? You would be drawn to this cover because especially if you're like a fan of Pink Lava Lamp, if you're a fan of any other lava lamps, black, blue, whatever, which one you like, right? You're gonna be like, oh shit, another lava lamp. Let me go ahead and make sure I check this out, right? So as a cover, it's great. Like it does what it needs to do. And like you said, it has that interesting title, Behind the Lava Lamp. Like you say, are you getting behind the scenes stuff? Is it gonna be like some of the references to the actual Pink Lava Lamp, maybe tracks that didn't make the Pink Lava Lamp? There was so much intrigue. It's like, wow, let me go ahead and press play on this immediately, right? So from a cover standpoint, it does exactly what it's supposed to do. But with covers is that you eventually have to press play. And so let's just get into the songs. Now you have the correct order. I know that we have the playlist up here, but it's not necessarily in the correct order. Can you work with me to get me the correct order? I have notes and I don't want to keep going back and forth.
I got you. I can tell you right now. Also, the other thing I was going to say, because technically, we're talking about the cover that we're used to, but
Hmm.
how do you feel about the, I guess, actual cover, the NHF cover? I know I sent you a picture of that,
Hmm.
because for that one, I'm like, okay, it's for me. I'm like, it's okay, I guess, because there's one I did see that's really like it's a black cover and it has like pink NHF. So and at the bottom says Charles Hampton. Pretty simple cover. But then the one I think I sent you was like the actual one where I'm like, I'm kind of like, that's it. That's all I got.
Yeah. Talking about like the picture in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah. I, do you know what it is? Like, it kind of gives me stuff that probably would have been on like Catholic Illuminati, something like that in the
It
background.
it does give me that vibe. And I feel like there's like little NHFs in there,
Yeah.
symbolism. But other than that, I don't know, man. But like I was I probably would prefer the other one, like I said, like just the behind the lava lamp. But it's not behind the lava lamp, so I don't even know
Right.
where that even came from. So that's the one thing that's interesting. It's like if this really isn't behind the lava lamp, where'd that even come from? You know what I
Right.
mean? So, but
Um, but yeah, let's just get into it, man. Let's get into it. What do we have first?
all right. So I'm gonna just read the track listing real quick.
Yep.
Um, Number one is I'm Chris Rivera. Number two is I Must Be Beautiful. Three is King of the Weirdos. Four is Where's Charles Hamilton. Five is Daughter Music. And then six is Dino.
All right. Well, let's start off with I'm Chris Rivera.
Gotcha. So let me get to my notes. So first of all, shout out to Songa Chang, because he's the one that produced the beat. And I was just like, nice beat. So when I first heard this, I'm like, I don't think I thought this when I first heard the song, like when it first came out. But when I heard it like recently, I'm like, this sounds like this could have been on like Atlantis and A. It had that down south flow, that down south beat, whatever. I'm like, if I would have just like never known, I'm like, okay, okay, it reminded me of that whole thing. You know how Charles was like, he's iffy on like when people say, "Hey, man, we want you to try out this sound, that sound, or
Yeah.
whatever." But at that point, I'm like, Charles knows that he can rock a down south beat, whatever. So and he did his thing on it. Um, I really don't have like anything negative to say actually about this song, whatever. Like I said, I actually like this song. The hook is kind of cheesy. It's the Chris Rivera, but it's just but it's just, like I said, this is a song for Chris. You know what I mean? So shout out to Chris, obviously, and also shout out to Songa. The one thing I did notice, and I'll just leave it at this, because I think it's in the second verse, Charles says, "Tell Mitchelson Hamilton Bank is now closed." If this is the Mitchelson that Charles has mentioned about
Mhm.
a lot in the past, just know that I know and I got the I got the reference. But other than that, I actually like the song. So if this is what actually starts the tape, it's a good way to start the tape.
My notes literally it just says beat is fire. Like that song of Chang really. I don't know how often he did produce with Charles, or if there was like a history between them. But that's fire. Charles does a good job rapping on here. Um, the note I have here would bury the lead for the rest of the tape, so I won't say what I'll say, but I'll wait till later. I will say that if you listen to this song and this was the first song you listened to, you were duped for the rest of the tape because I feel like this song doesn't match any of the energy of the rest of the tape. If that makes sense. You're like, okay, cool. This is gonna be a bunch of again. It feels like a bunch of songs. This feels like a song that should have been on a different tape. I'm glad you said that. Atlantis A is a good choice. Uh, I guess I would say maybe even the Tinted Swag, kinda. Just the beat sounds or whatever. But it sounded like it should be on a different tape, and maybe what we were supposed to get and what we got are two different things. With Corpy involved, but
True, true.
none of this matches the rest of the tape.
I got you. By the way, for let's say for the newer Star Chasers that don't know, and I'm gonna explain it too on another song that comes up.
Mhm.
Chris Rivera and Songa Chang, very like well-known Star Chasers, OG Star
Mhm.
Chasers. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Um, I don't know how many times Charles like did songs or rapped on like a song to beat, whatever, but he always mentioned them back then. It's one of those names where like I want to say at this time, you would just hear Chris Rivera, Chris Rivera. And then I
Yeah.
think at one point for me, I'm like, who the fuck is Chris Rivera? Because
Yeah.
it seemed like he came out of nowhere. And then it's like, oh, hey, I'm Chris Rivera. I was like, oh, this is Chris. Okay, what's
Yeah.
up, Chris? And then with Songa, same thing. It's just like, okay, well, who's Songa? And then it's one of those things where, especially when you're in that realm of, like I said, that Facebook group of like the Lounge and Star Chaser Central, it's like, bro, it's like let's say at the time, let's say it could have been like 30 or 40 of us. It's like, bro, we all know who is who. So who? And then it's like,
Right.
okay. So it's one of those things where like, now there's so many newer people. Someone could be just like, oh, well, blah, 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 who is so and so? Oh, well, they just started like last year listening to
Yeah.
Charles, whatever. But at the same time, let's say if someone's like, who the fuck is Mike Jackson? It's like, nah, bro. Like, I've been here long enough. You have to be like someone brand new to not know who I am. It's
Right.
like one of those type of things. But
Yeah. That's facts.
I do agree with you mean like listening to this song, I'm like, how just how the songs are structured and everything. It's like is this song doesn't sound like it should be on here, but it is. So
The next song is uh I Must Be Beautiful. The name attached to this one is
Elise,
Elise. Yeah.
At least. Yep.
Do
You
you,
want
do
me to
you want
start?
to do you want to start or do you want me to go?
Nah, I'll start. I got you.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
so because this is where we get into the interestingness, right? So, and this is definitely when I first heard this project, I was like, "Yo, what is going on?" This is the song that made me be like, "Yo, like for real." Like at that point, pause. But today we're
Right.
resuming.
Yeah.
So, um, I'll say this. First of all, the beat's fire. I love the beat. You know what I mean? This is a great beat. And then I love the message in the beginning because he's like, tell your daughter, hey, whenever you're down, I must be beautiful. You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, cool, cool. This is dope.
Yep.
And then it changes. It changes so fast. So here's the thing, right? For you guys that haven't heard this project or this song before, basically, Charles goes on saying, "Hey, I love my daughter. She's a stripper, and I don't know what I should do. I love her, but I might be in love with her. So I'm thinking about sleeping with her. Thinking about sleeping with my daughter. Yes, you heard me correctly. Said I think about sleeping with my daughter. One of the things that interesting because when his verse ends and goes into the hook, the thing is he's conflicted on what to do because he says he doesn't want to ruin her womanhood and her childhood.
Hmm.
Now, obviously, we all know with Charles and a lot of stuff that he's gone through. He's had a crazy past. His childhood, has been, altered.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where I'm like, yeah, because it's like from his standpoint, it's like, hey, you already know, or if you don't know, already had a crazy childhood, and you're growing up to be a woman. I don't want to ruin your childhood, how mine was ruined. At the
Hmm.
same time, I'm trying to protect you and love you. And
Hmm.
maybe this is what I need to do to protect you and love you by being in love with you and going the full distance. And then in the second verse, what else does he say? 'Cause I think at one point he's like, she gets on the pole and whatnot. And it's like, um, I want to show her support, and it's one of those things where like, how do I show her support for it? Because that's the career she wants to, pursue.
Hmm.
Do I help her with that, or do I do the fatherly thing and be like, nah, she shouldn't be doing that? I just want to show her love.
Hmm.
And it's like, maybe this isn't the way that you should be loving her, but maybe it is. It's one of those type of deals. And I normally don't do this, but I have to read this. I think I got a screenshot of it. Give me a second. Because this is where it comes from, the first verse, right? So I only read a little bit of it. But Charles says this in the first verse. I might smash my daughter, give her all what's in my zipper, grab her behind, and I'm rather excited. And then I'm not gonna read the rest of it. When y'all hear the song, y'all hear it. Here's my thing, right? So basically the song is about potential incest. Not a good thing. Not a good thing. I can't really defend that under any circumstance. Well, maybe if it, no, no. So here's where I will try to shoot Charles some bail. Here's where the song could have been easily cleaned up or better digestible. It's still going to be a touchy subject, right? Because whenever you're talking about incest or any type of abuse or whatever the case is,
Hmm.
take yourself out of the situation where it's like, hey, I'm writing the song, I'm writing the story. Don't put yourself in the story. Put
Hmm.
yourself in the story. That's where it gets a little crazy because sometimes you can't really separate the artist and whatnot. And another way he could have been doing it is okay. If you're not separating yourself, it's like okay, tell this story from a different standpoint or tell it like just like I said, just don't make it you're saying it because I could see this being like okay, let's say there's a music video for this. Let's say if the father didn't raise the daughter,
Hmm.
never got to meet the daughter. He got older, we go to the strip club and whatnot. Oh, he loves this girl that's dancing on the da-da-da, whatever.
Hmm.
Finds out it's his daughter. I've already gone so far, but I've been looking for her all my life. What do I do now?
Right.
Because I'm you could switch it like that. And it's like it's still a messy situation, but that's the thing where it's like, hey, you didn't know. But it's like if you're actually watching someone grow up and then you're like, yeah, I'm going that route. Yeah. So That's really all I gotta say about that. So
I think people would probably, of the two of us, right? If we poll our community that we have, shout out to y'all, we're close to 300 again, and we're nothing without you guys. I would think that people would poll and say, of the two of us, I'm probably the one who likes to shoot bail more or try to find an alternative way of looking at stuff. I would think that, not by much. 'Cause I think we both do a pretty good job about it. I think I may do it just a little bit more. I can't do that today. I'm gonna be honest. Today is not gonna be that day. It's not gonna be that day where I'm gonna try to be like, oh, he could have. No, you have to think about, and this is the thing we talk about all the time. This is gonna be a long episode. We talk about this all the time. How one of the struggles as a Charles Hamilton fan is being able to say, you should go listen to this next. Or what should you listen to next? Because you have two choices. You could be like, you can point them to certain stuff, and then eventually you're gonna run out, and then they have to start searching for themselves. Imagine somebody picking this randomly, getting to this song, and the track starts off with, just so y'all know, my daughter is 2 years old. So fuck out of here. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I'm thinking, you know how he always says he has daughters and stuff like that. Whatever. We know how that goes sometimes. And then he starts rapping about the shit that's in the song. At first verse is very graphic and shit. There's nothing redeemable about the song at all. I literally wrote "Get the fuck out of here, man," and that's all I got because it's just there's no there's nothing to the song. There's nothing redeemable about the song. Again, we try not to say trash here. I'm still not gonna say that. I'm going to say there's nothing redeemable about this song, and under any circumstance, and that's really all I have to say.
I got it. I got it. And hey, listen, like you said, you had a point about, when we have these conversations, we got to figure out, hey, what's the next song or next project that we can point people to?
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those things where, bro, there's certain things. It's like we know how Charles is. It's like, hey, I want to be able to use my creative freedom to write and say how I feel. And it's like, yeah, you are allowed to do that. At the same time, when people, if there's no context behind any of this, someone just point blank hears that, it's like, bruh. And then even if there is enough context, it's still like, why did you have to say this or say it like that? You
Yeah.
know? And it's like that's the ebbs and flows. That's what that is. So, but if you're ready, we can move on to the next song.
Yeah, I believe it. Next one is King of Weirdos.
Let me double check that real quick. I got a bunch of screenshots. So I'm like, oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, King of the Weirdos. Stefan.
Okay.
So, um, I'll wait to say this at the end of
Mhm.
the review. Um, I'll be honest. Me and Charles were talking about this beat I think last week because he really likes the beat and he was just like, oh man, I gotta find that sample because I don't know how I flipped it, whatever, but I gotta see if I could, redo it again or whatever. So
Yeah.
I was on the phone with him while he was like trying to find the sample and whatnot, and it was interesting. But here's my thing, right? Personally, no disrespect, I do not like this beat at all.
Okay.
Not a fan of it. Best way I can explain it, right? And I always would use this as the metaphor when Charles said on Unapologetic, I could flush a fucking tornado locker, make it a beat, and y'all need to say this proper. Say that all the time. But I felt like this was really him doing that, like putting a bunch of sounds together. And then it's like, see, I could take everything and make it and this is when I'm like, okay, this is one of the situations I don't think that
Yeah.
does work. But at the time, basically like Steph Curry shooting the ball up. Oh, help the basket's over there. He's throwing the ball over there. It's missing somehow. Like Looney
Yeah.
Tunes. It's like how did he not miss? But in this
Yeah.
situation, I'm like, okay, you got to miss once in a while. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm not a fan of this beat. Um, I know Charles is saying some stuff on here, whatever. He has some bars, but like for me, I'm like the beats too, I guess distracting for me. And I'm like, I hear the bars and I'm like, the bars don't really catch my interest either already. So I'm like, beats not great. The verses are just anime, so I'm like, nah. So not a fan of this song.
I mean, not only are the verses the just not and it's just again that second verse, he's talking crazy stuff again. I think it's this one where what did he say? I want to say it's this one where he says, and again, there's nothing wrong with this. We've talked about this all the time. But he's like, I got head from a guy or something in the thing, and then he
Yeah,
said he's gay, and it was like a bunch of different stuff. And I'm like, since the beginning of this podcast, we've kind of, when I first brought it up about saying like that for it just being against that community or whatever, he called me and kind of explained the situation, and I took it for that, right? But as we've gone along and we've seen a bunch of different songs, it's like this tape in particular just seems rooted. I'm not putting on the white jacket, but it seems rooted in homophobia. You feel me? Because it's just like a lot of the stuff isn't necessary to for whatever you're trying to convey or provide on this tape. I feel like some of the things aren't necessary, especially if not the original, but the tape is called alternatively I'm not gay, but then it's like you're compounding stuff like it's like that person where like people overcomplicate or overcompensate to be like, yo, I'm not gay. Like that over masculinity shit. Like, bro, you don't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? If you're comfortable, you're comfortable. You don't have to do this extra shit. But that second verse, man, it's like why? There's no point in it. And then I think in the thing too, he's bringing up M's daughter a lot on this tape. At least on two songs I remember. Eminem's daughter on there. I'm like, bro, what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? This is just another one where it's like, why? Just it's no redeemable quality, bro. I'm sorry.
I get you. Yeah, I want to say, and I don't want to put words in Charles' mouth,
Right?
but
Yeah.
I know like for Charles, that we talked about before on that one, there's like one or two projects where like Charles always would say, "Yo, my favorite rapper is Marshall Mathers, Eminem," and he always big up M. And then there's other times where he's just like, "Yeah, I'd slap the fuck out of Eminem and da da da
Yeah.
da whatever." And I could see Charles being like, "Oh, that's me bigging him up. I'm jabbing with him." And it's like, bro, like
No.
number one, there's a couple of things we know Eminem don't play with, and we know number one is his daughter.
It's
Period.
the daughter.
Yeah,
Like
it's like
what?
it's like, bro, you don't if you're going to jab with Eminem, you don't jab about that ever in any circumstance. It doesn't matter who you are. You could be 50 Cent, you could be Dr. Dre. You don't ever mention that, and
Yeah.
there's no way for you to be like, well, we joke like, no, you don't, no, you don't, and he don't. No, you don't. So, but I think that's what I think it is because it's when Charles goes into his, hey, that's me jabbing someone, letting them know like I'm still either better than you or my bars are nicer than yours, and it's like you said, there's different ways of going about that. Just mention them, it's that complicated, dynamic that Charles has where it's like, yeah, I'm showing love to this person, but also saying fuck them too, because that's the rapper in me, and I'm like, I don't know. Like you said, it's a tricky slope, I guess you could say.
Uh, what do we have there? Is the next one is where Charles having next?
That is correct. Where is Charles Hamilton?
Okay, so what do I have here as far as my notes? Because I think this one I was like, I said fine. It's fine, I guess. I did
I,
right here. Go ahead.
I can see, yeah. Even though I don't know your notes, but this is definitely the one that you would say would be, yeah, it's fine. But go ahead.
I just said the music feels hollow. It just I'm sure the people who got mentions and like the songs are mentioned for them, like it has an emotional attachment to it. But if you're like, ooh, you know, is this one of his best songs? Like, stuff like that. It's like, no, it's just like it doesn't have substance. It doesn't really it's lacking something. And I don't know what it is. It's just everything just feels hollow, like empty. Like you made the song, cool, but like for what? What was the purpose? There's no energy behind it. It's cool. Again, I'm sure it's cool for like Chris and all these people, and that's dope. I think that's great. I just think that for everyone else, where does it stand?
I can see your point with that. So when I heard the song, it has that rock rap combo that Charles does, especially this early like 2010 era where it's like, okay, you see how he's chopping up a beat or mixing it up or whatever. So I'm like, okay, it's cool, standard. So For those that don't know, this song is also dedicated to Chris. So Chris gets two songs on
Yep.
here. So where's Charles Hamilton? For those of you that don't know, when Charles did leave Interscope and all that, and then he went underground, of course, after the whole jail hospital stint and everything, it was a point in time where no one heard from him. And Chris was the person that did the Where's Charles Hamilton website.
Hmm.
When we started getting the Where's Charles Hamilton tapes and all that type of stuff, whatever. Chris is one of the biggest people, or one of the first people to be like, yo, I'm trying to reach out to Charles and trying to, talk to him and trying to see if he's okay. I'm a big fan. I'm a big supporter. So Charles kind of details that in the song, like, hey, when I was gone, this guy, Chris Rivera, was like, yo, putting up all this stuff about me or whatever and trying to keep my name alive. And I had no idea who he was.
Yeah.
But long story short, thank you for doing that, because you know for Charles at that point it was probably like, man, I don't know who still cares,
Hmm.
who's still looking for me, but there's at least one fan that put that effort of
Yeah.
get my name out there. And then he finds out there's even more people and more people that still
Yeah.
care. So it's like, that's dope. So that was Charles, doing that, saying, hey, thank you, man. Thank you for doing that. Hopefully we get up sometime soon and we could, link up and, chat about that. You know what I mean? So I would say it's a nice little tribute, I guess you could say, or a thank you, but I could see for everybody else, it's like, yeah, I don't really feel anything from it. You know what I mean? But obviously, that song is definitely that's more like a song dedicated to Chris. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So like, I can see both sides where Chris probably like, oh man, I love that song. Thank you,
Yeah.
man. But for anyone else, especially not in the know, or you're just like, I don't get the point of it. It's just like, yeah. So I can see both. So, but for me, I'm like, it's a cool song. It's cool.
Yeah.
I don't really have too much about it, but I see the story behind it. So I'm like, oh, that's dope. So shout out to Chris again.
For sure. Um, and he followed that up with daughter music.
Yes, daughter music, Amy. So it's crazy. We were talking about Eminem earlier because I said on here, I could see Eminem rapping on something like this back in the day. At that time when Eminem was kind of coming back and dealing with his own demons and whatnot. Because there's some beats that he had on that like relapse era that were like weird. Like, you know what I mean by this? Those weird Eminem beats or whatever. It's like only Eminem will
Right.
rap on this. So with this beat, I said it's sinister and it has like a creepy feel to it. Cause I feel like when it gets to like the third, fourth bar, it's like someone playing the piano like incorrectly on
Hmm.
purpose. And it's supposed to have that where, hey, that's out of tune. And it's like that's the creepy part about it.
Yeah.
So it has that feel to it. And if someone's like, oh, well, that's supposed to, it's like, no, it's supposed to sound like that. So that's what he was going for. Definitely nailed that.
Yeah.
Charles was talking about his daughters, his three daughters, and wanting to teach them how to be women
Hmm.
and grow up. And then we get into I think what you said about he mentioned Eminem on this. He does mention Eminem on this song too.
Hmm.
Um, there's once again some incest bars in there as well. So it's just like I don't think it's as heavy as the Elise song,
Right.
but it's in there. Charles was talking about, like I said, he's talking about his three daughters and who they are and just what they do. And it's like I feel like he kind of was rapping like Eminem too on some bars. Like he had that little inflection Eminem kind of does, especially around that 2010
Yeah.
era. But yeah, another song where it's just like, man, this is definitely only going to be for a certain selective group of people, because like I said, that beat is just like it's very like sinister and
Yeah.
eerie and whatnot. And like I said, I could just see if you're not into that, like if like people that love horror films and all that type of stuff,
Sure.
if you love that type of like I love watching that all day, you would probably like that beat. But like for anyone else where it's like, it's too much for me. So that's how I feel about that track.
Yeah. I guess the nice thing I can say about it is not as offensive as Elise. That track. You know what I'm saying? That's really where we are with it. It's I will say that though I think some of the rhetoric that he's trying to provide on here is dated. I think he's trying to provide some type of good messaging as far as like raising women and like raising them to at least be not proper, but like confident and stuff like that. There's bits and pieces of it in the bars where you can hear him trying to do that. It's just that some of the ways he's saying like you shouldn't do this, then do that. But I'm like, maybe if they want to, it shouldn't be the fault of what they wear, or what they do, versus the people around them. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like it's more. The better thing would be to be aware versus don't do something in a certain way because you might entice whatever, right? So there's good messaging in there somewhere, but again, it's always under the guise or the under the wolf's clothing of the bullshit that he's spitting in here. So again, I guess the highlight is just that it's not as bad as the second track.
I got you. You do have a good point of, like you said, a lot of this music, of course, it's 2011, and I feel as a country, it's a lot of stuff going on where we're like, hey, women shouldn't do this, women shouldn't do that, blah blah
Right.
blah, whatever. And we've gotten better. It's still like, but it's like this much better. It's one of
Right.
those things. It's
Yeah.
like we still got a lot of work to do. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But like, it's one of those things where, yeah, teach your daughters, don't do this, don't do that, don't do that. And also, it's like, hey, reminder, teach your sons not to do this either. You know what I
Right.
mean? Make sure because don't blame all the onus on the women. Like
Right.
you said, we know of stories and situations of women being fully clothed and fully dressed and being proper, and then them still having to deal with the same issues. So it's
Right.
like at a certain point, we got to remind everyone to keep their hands to themselves and be proper. So
Mhm. Oh, the tape ends with Dino. I want to say the full name is Dino Rhyme Style. Dino.
yeah,
Uh, wow, what a song to end on. Everything about this song is not great. Um, Content is bad throughout the tape, but this is a bit OD, is what I said. Um, the first time I heard it, I was just so shocked by some of the shit he was saying in the verses. I didn't notice the hook, and I listened to the hook today, and I was like, "Is he saying what I think he's saying?" And I'm not gonna repeat it, but I'm right. So like, I don't know what you want me to say, bro. Like, this is not this is bad. This is not good. And I wrote down if because like he's really hyping up NHF at the beginning of the song, like, oh, new HF, the NHF, all that. I was like, if this is what it means to be NHF, I'm gonna be MIA.
whoa, you can't be MIA. We had a conversation I think last week, bro. We're too old. We can't go to spring break. We can't go to
Oh
Miami.
yeah, we can't go spring break.
We can't go. We can't go. We can't next week. Well, no, not next week. Maybe like 2 weeks from now. We can go MIA. We can go there.
Okay. So for right now, I'll be DNP. Do not participate.
Okay,
Got
got
it.
you,
Yep.
got you.
So yeah, this closes the tape. That's just I can't anticipate it ending any other way based off what I got for most of the tape.
Gotcha. So for me, I know I think the playlist that's on YouTube,
Hmm.
this is the first song.
Yeah.
So like for me, I technically think this should be the first song. Like how the playlist is, whatever. I'm like, this should definitely be the first song. So the beat, when I first heard it come in, I'm like, oh, this beat's fire. It hard
Hmm.
hitting, you know what I mean? Promising, it's promising, whatever. I'm like,
Yep.
okay, this is crazy. And then Charles has a nice flow on it. And then like you said, he's doing the NHF. I'm like, oh yeah, he means business. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. He's going through, and I'm like, okay, it's fire. And then I want to say like halfway through the song, you get to like the 2 minute mark, like right before the end of the first verse, whatever. Then it starts getting a little okay. Like you said, he gets to the hook or whatever. Talk about Dino, and they mentioned Song, huh? And I'm like, okay, and I think probably that's why I didn't think Songa Chang was a real person, or maybe thinking Chris was a real person. Cause I'm like, or are these maybe people from movies or characters from shows or something like
Hmm.
that? So I'm like, I don't know. Cause I'm like, why would you have, I don't know. But then the second verse, that's where we get to the crazy bars. There it gets
Hmm.
real graphic. And then talking about rape and abuse,
Yeah.
to put it lightly. And then I didn't even notice it back then, without when we went to go listen to this again. He disses Nate later on.
He
And
does. Yeah.
I'm like, oh. And in my head, I'm like, man, that's real graphic. And my thing, I'm like, remember when he dissed Nate before on one project we were talking about, where he
Yep.
said he's gayer than Bishop Bonner on Sunday? And
Yep.
I'm like, that's crazy. I remember I said, oh, those are fighting words. No,
Yeah.
no, no.
No.
These these are fighting words. X.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? And of course, they have their own relationship, their own history and whatnot.
Right.
But I'm, yeah, bro, nah. Like I remember before saying, "Yo, you call me Bishop Bonner?" Oh, nah. But no, this is like, oh, nah.
No,
This is literally me being like, nah. Take that down. Take that song down. Don't ever mention me in a song like that. But
bro, immediate fade.
yeah, that's like that. Wow, wow. Um, yeah, but this song, and like I said, at the beginning, I was rocking with it, and then like it slowly just starts going crazier and crazier. I'm like, oh, but so I'm pretty mixed on this one because in the beginning I was rocking with it, and then like it starts to get into, and like I said, the stuff he says where he's being so graphic, where it's like, oh, if someone ever does this to you, you do that, and they never exist, and I'm like, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it. That's all I got.
Before we get this review, is there anything that you can provide that maybe you talked with Charles with anything additional where we can at least fill in some gaps that maybe we're missing?
Of course. So, couple things I want to go over. Like I said, it's a lot, y'all. So hopefully I don't forget anything. By the way, we've been calling this NHF, and we didn't
Hmm.
even explain that, whatever. So NHF stands for New Hamilton Family. Another thing about this project is that apparently, because we were only talking about 6 songs,
Hmm.
apparently there were supposed to be 10. There's supposed to be 4 other songs. I did ask Charles about that. Um, Not sure what happened to him. Well, what that could have been something with Corpy, you know what I
Hmm.
mean, where these songs didn't get released, or maybe if they are out there, I'm not sure what happened. New Hamilton Family, um, all these songs, all these names are all Star Chasers. All like, and I'm talking about close knit people that Charles really loved and cared about. You know
Yep.
what I mean? Or really, hold up. At least at that time, I'm not sure how he feels about everybody now, if they're still close or not. But this project actually, what I found out, because this was on a screenshot I had. I think this is on like Dat Piff. Dat Piff.
Shout out to that
Um,
Piff, man. Holy
yeah,
shit.
yeah. So this is what it said on there. It was said unreleased tracks by Charles Hamilton for hardcore fans. So basically, long story short, this was only meant for actually certain people. Like, and it says hardcore fans. Like when we say hardcore fans, it's like, hey, these songs were actually for you. Like the Chris Rivera song, hey, that's for you. These 2 songs are for you.
Yeah.
For like the daughter music, hey, these are for my 3 daughters for you guys to listen to.
Yeah.
We're not even supposed to listen. Me and you weren't supposed to be listening to this. Some of y'all, a lot of y'all, like the 200 whoever who's all watching this and all that, a lot of y'all not supposed to hear this at all. This wasn't even supposed to come out at all,
Yeah.
at all. So I'm not sure exactly whose idea was it to leak it on purpose or not, but that's Corby again. And then one of the things I also learned with the whole daughter thing, right? So a lot of the daughter thing is the female star chasers that he was really close with. So he's talking about certain female star chasers. And like I said, there's the guy star chasers, but he looks at them like, hey, y'all are my children. Y'all are, I hold y'all with, because while I was going through all this stuff I was going through, y'all looked out for me. Y'all cared about me. Y'all really loved me. So I'm showing you the love back with this project and showing you how much I love you.
Hmm.
And it's like, okay, got you. So he's not actually talking about real incest, I guess you could say, or
Right.
whatever. But it's one of the things without that context, you don't know. So he's dedicating this, and it's supposed to be a project for only those like 10 people, but in the situation, 6. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So um other than that, I think that's pretty much it. All I got. But basically, like I said, this whole project, when it's supposed to come out, is only meant for certain people to hear. And
Yeah.
that's it. When it's supposed to be out on the internet. And this is dedicated to those fans and those special people in his life. So he's not actually talking about, having, it's not an actual like daughter that he had birth. It's like, oh, this is Star Chasers. You are my son. You are my daughter.
Right.
That's what he's talking about.
Um, okay. Are you ready to review this, man?
I'm ready to rate. And I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna go first.
Cool.
All right. So
So, oh, can I do my thing real quick? I have to do the.
sorry, my bad.
That's fine. No, it's fine. It's fine. We did just listen to NHF again in 2025. So let us know what you're gonna do as far as review. What pros and cons you have, and what character rating you are give it today, Mike.
Yes, sir. Gotcha. So kind of like leads on to like what I was saying earlier. We weren't even supposed to hear this tape.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't even supposed to hear this tape. Tape wasn't even supposed to be for us.
Mm-hmm.
Same time, it came out, so it is what it is. There is a certain demographic or a group of people that will love this tape. There's going to be a certain group of people that will, be able to look past it and be like, hey, this is more symbolism. This is not what he's talking about. Also, now that you have the context, you can make your own choice and be like, hey, I can bypass that because now I don't feel, a certain way about hearing that and thinking it's about this and that because he's really
Mm-hmm.
talking about this.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I cannot. Um, I can see myself going back to listen to I'm Chris Rivera. I can see myself going back to listen to that song. That's a cool song. Everything else, can't really see myself listening to again. Even like I said, with the context, I really can't see myself going back to listening to this for any reason other than to like talk about review topics.
Mm-hmm.
This is a Robotnik for me. And once again, reminder, Robotnik means you didn't like it and or it's not for you or it's not for me. This project is just not for me. I won't be able to just keep listening to certain songs like that, especially in 2025 and be like, yeah, like I know that's what he's talking about, but I don't even want to have to think about that. It's like either I like the music and it doesn't make me feel that way when I hear words like that or hear, situations like that or not. But it's just not for me. It's going to be for some people, but this is definitely not for me. I'm at a point in my life where I can't listen to music like that. I just can't. I can't. And I will not. So, like I said, for review purposes, I have no problem. It's the job. But any other time outside of that, I'm good. That's my review.
I think I said with I Wanna Wonder. I think I said, and I quote, maybe I said that for this one. Did I say that was my least favorite listening experience? I think that's what I said for that one. Because I was like, I would for that one I was listening and it was just like I was listening and like the music wasn't like terrible, but it just felt like one long listen. And so I just didn't enjoy it from that perspective. This is now replaced that because there's just nothing here that interests me in the least bit. Like I said, I'm Chris Rivera is a I think that's something if it came on, I'd be like, we can keep playing that. That's fine. It's whatever. That beat's hard. Honestly, a lot of the beats on here are decent to good. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the one positive it has going for it. But some of the notes that I had, and you told me about this, the context behind, everything. I wrote trying to craft stories and universes that only you know about fully leads to music that can never be suggested. I can never suggest this to a random person, like ever. Like I could suggest other tapes to him and to people, and you might run into a song where you're like, "Oh, what's he talking about here?" And you have to explain it, but it's going to be an easy explanation. There's no easy explanation to this. You know what I'm saying? Like I think I also wrote down what I put. I said CH's music. A lot of CH music is like it's like being locked behind a paywall, and the pay is like you the only way to pay is to actually have the knowledge of what's going on and like what he means by certain things and what he means by certain names and what he means by certain situations. If he says a phrase, it means this. But if you don't know it, it doesn't have any meaning to you. So you're just stuck being like, I don't have the backstory to know what this is. And I also think, and I kind of want to shoot him bail here. This was during the time you said this was coming off of or before. Do we know if he before this before or after he had the hospital stay?
It was after. So like for example, like hospital stint, jail, all that. He's coming back, and because he told me I don't know who I can trust, what's going on, who are all these people, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? So he's starting to like it's the whole thing of like I guess you say like delusion, right? You're like, are these people really for me? Are they
yeah,
really, fans? Are they trying to attack me? Are they trying to gang up on me?
yeah.
And then he's like, okay, these people are actually like really fans and they want to, support me. So
Hmm.
I'm going to call them family. It's the new Hamilton family. So that's,
Got it.
that's why I'm surrounding myself with these people and keeping them in my corner. So,
I could have understood if he like when he recorded this before he went and had the hospital stay and like he goes back like, I don't even remember recording any of this. I would have given him bail for that. That way, I guess you could say that there's still a lot of built up anger or something, like some resentment to certain things. But if this is for the people that you love and that you have created a tight circle with, I don't still don't understand some of the imagery and some of the things you said in the songs. I just think there are times where Charles will create a story or create a thing and a backstory after hearing it back because he's either it's almost like he's trying to excuse away some of the stuff he said by creating like a story behind it. And I'm this is from my perspective. I'm not putting words in his mouth. That's just from my perspective because it's just like I don't think he's not. I think sometimes he's just not proud of some of the stuff he did or said. Is what I'm hoping and what I'm thinking, right? So he just try to create a narrative around it to maybe give it some type of context, even if you still don't like it. This is a Robotnik. I don't get pleasure out of giving Robotniks, contrary to whatever belief anyone has, right? I don't give. But when music like this exists and it's like there's no like the audience is so small that you can't really suggest it for anyone. Not only is it not for me, I just don't know who it would be for, right? Other than the people that it was meant to be for. Um, so it's a Robotnik for me. Yeah.
all right. I got you, man. Yeah, I mean that's just what it is. It's like I said, at the end of the day, none of us are supposed to hear this. It's one of those situations where it's supposed to be meant for certain people. I'm not sure how those people have received it. Like if
Right.
they ever, like, of course, Chris and Songa and whoever else, I'm pretty sure they got to hear their songs. But like when it
Yeah.
comes to like the daughters and whoever else and those other four tracks we never got to hear,
Yeah.
uh, not sure. But you know,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so it's still important that we listen to it, and I still, even with our review, I still suggest people to go listen to it. Make your own inference, man. The fact when you told me those people said that was fire and they liked it, good for them. It's not for me, but good for them. So there are people who will like it. So yeah, go listen to it for yourself. Let us know what you think. Obviously, uh, but yeah, there will be no convincing me. Um, otherwise. So, but we're here, man. We are here now with the results of the final four voting from this past week. Um, I will say, man, listen, this year's voting has been fascinating, fascinating. I think last year we were able to kind of pick out it's going to be these two tapes, and we were right on the button, right? This year, man, no, there was no way to predict what we got this year, Mike.
not at all. No,
Yeah,
not at all. And it's one of the things where I'm like, I'm not trying to say like, oh, star chasers are predictable. I'm Magneto. I know exactly what you're all thinking before you do it. And then it's just like, man, mutiny. I'll let you go ahead, man.
um, so if you remember, we had two matchups. We had Brooklyn Girls taking on She's So High, and we had the Penthouse Elevator taking on Star Chasers. Um, in the upset of the tournament thus far, She's So High defeated Brooklyn Girls. Mike, what are your thoughts, man?
Two things. First of all, we told y'all, man, voting's important. Voting is important. I'm not going to say who, but there's a star chaser that was saying we had a conversation before. Yeah, so it seems like Brooklyn Girls is going to win the whole thing. Da 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 da. And I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of y'all maybe that didn't vote because you probably saw, well, Brooklyn Girls is just flying by everything, so it's just going to win. It's useless. Brooklyn Girls is officially gone, bro.
Yeah,
It's done. It's done.
yeah.
So voting's important. So the people that voted, y'all see, it works. You got that song out of there.
Hmm.
It got defeated,
Yep.
eliminated from the Royal Rumble. Over the top rope,
Over the
two
top rope.
feet, hit the floor. Both hit the floor. No
Uh-huh.
Kofi Kingston. Oh, I'm on the no.
Uh,
Your feet hit the floor. You're done. You're out.
no,
You're not going.
no stack of pancakes to save you this
you-
time.
You're not pointing to the sign. You're not going to WrestleMania. You're not going to WrestleMania. Not you. Not this year. Next year, maybe, but and also for the people that chose not to vote, saying y'all could have been like, Brooklyn girls, they don't need my vote. They did. They needed your vote, and you weren't there.
Yeah,
You weren't there. You let Brooklyn girls down.
you let them
You're
down.
just you're literally just as bad as J. Cole letting Nas down. You let
Oh
Nas
man.
down.
Yeah, yeah, y'all, yeah, Hillary Clinton, Brooklyn girls, man. Uh,
Let's Pokemon go to the polls. Let's Brooklyn girls to the polls. And then no.
yeah, man, it's gone. She's so high with a magical run to the championship round. Um, I would love to. I wish I could. I wish you know how on Instagram you can kind of like when they have a poll up, you can kind of see who voted for what. I
Yeah.
wish Twitter kind of did that too, so I could just ask people, what was the reason? Was it because like you really think She's So High beat is better than Brooklyn's Girls, or are you like I can't let this happen? Because I think there'll be a healthy balance of both. I'll be perfectly honest with you. Um, but yeah, the fans voted, man. So shout out to She's So High, man. It's a fantastic beat.
Oh, definitely. Shout out to She's So High. It's crazy because I was just like, man, Brooklyn girls. I would have said, yeah, I could see, Brooklyn girls edging it out. You know what I mean? Just like, no. And there was a sizable margin. And I think there's a good amount of people that said, nah, man, remember, guys, the best beat, not best song.
Right.
And I think it's a bit of that, people choosing to just, like I said, mutiny. I think there's a good amount of people that just said, I refuse to let Brooklyn girls win.
Yeah.
Like literally, like you're about to be on your last breath and then you have like the grenade where you're like, listen, if I gotta go, all y'all going with me,
Everybody go.
and everybody's gone. I feel like there's a good amount of people that just said, oh, what's it on Call of Duty Martyrdom? When you end up getting killed and then you drop the grenade, you're like, oh, well, guess what? You're going with me too. So I think there's a good amount of people that did that. But end of the day, we don't vote. Me and Stick, we do not vote. That's
Yeah.
y'all.
Yeah.
Y'all pick this. This is y'all's doing. So it is what it is. If you did what you did, I'm not gonna say shame on you, whatever, but just know that you and I know, we know what's going on, you know what I mean? But hey, it is what it is though. It is what it is. This has made this interesting. So
Yeah. Yeah. On the other side of the bracket, Penthouse Elevator was able to finally end StarChaser's run and will also be meeting in the championship round.
historical run. Cause we talked about it earlier with Star Chasers. I'm like, yeah, I can see that making it to the finals easily because it's like the OG, you know what I mean, theme song basically
Yeah.
for us. And this one got beat. So I could just tell y'all now, you know, all my stuff's gone. You know what I mean? Literally,
Yeah.
for me, my two finals was going to be BK Girls and Star Chasers. I'm like, they're both just, they're going to
Yeah.
the finals, and then I don't know what's going to really win there, whatever.
Hmm.
No. So I mean, listen, we talked about it last week, and I'm saying now, listen, I was talking about brackets getting busted on. My bracket has officially been busted on by me, by
Yeah.
myself. Y'all, I'm
Right.
not
Yeah.
gonna let y'all bust on my bracket. You know what I mean? I did it to myself.
Right.
So
Uh-huh.
yeah, you want to try and bust on my bracket? Listen. I'm not gonna let y'all do that. So you
Bust it, baby.
y'all get busted on your own brackets on your own time, whatever, in your own little corner. Go ahead, do that, whatever. You know what I mean? Now, if your girl was around, oh, I'll
Right.
bust on
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I'll give her back though. You can have that. And
Right.
here's a nice little towel. You can
That's crazy.
clean yourself up after that. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Uh, yeah, man. I wouldn't have had these two making it into this round. It's very interesting. Um, Awkward has a chance to win two tournaments back to back years, which is crazy. Um, and we didn't allow the Pink Lava Lamp in last year's tournament, so now they'll have a chance to secure a win. But obviously, it's gonna come down to the voting, man. It's gonna come down to you guys. Championship matchup: She's So High versus the Penthouse Elevator to determine what is the best Charles Hamilton beat as voted by the fans. So be sure to vote. Same rules apply. Next week we are reviewing a shorter tape. Do a little bit longer, but a shorter tape, and then we will reveal the champion, man. So be sure to vote. Same thing. Wednesday episode comes out 10, 12 o'clock. The poll will be out, and then it'll be all up to you. So get on the street team. Get your pitchforks, or oh no, that's a different thing. Get your your signs and your forms and shit, and get people out there to vote, man. Because we are here in the championship round.
I'll be honest. I really don't know now. I really don't like me just looking at the songs now. I'm like, I really don't know who will win. I can't even tell you who I think will win, but this is really going to be interesting. It's just like, wow. So I'm interested to see what you guys vote and how this is going to end. It's great matchups, great interesting turnout. So like Stick said, vote, please vote. Let's see who's gonna win. Like I said, basically, will Awkward do the back to back, or is it gonna be the Pink Lava Lamp, reclaiming its throne, I guess, quote unquote, because technically it's like RVD when he couldn't participate in the first the pay-per-view they did in WWE where they're like, oh, we're bringing ECW back. And it's like, you already know RVD would have smashed it. But it's like, oh, well, guess what? The second one, now I'm going against John Cena, and
Yeah,
if Cena wins, we riot. So it's like, hey, Cena didn't win. Exactly, literally, that was she's so
yeah,
high. So it's
yeah,
like, no, RVD said, nah, that's not gonna happen.
yeah.
But if she's so high, this is wild. This came off the
Yeah,
brain.
you're doing it right
RVD,
now. Keep going, keep going.
that's fucking,
Yeah, keep
that's
going.
crazy. Is it going to actually do what it's supposed to do, or is it going to flub and it's going to get caught with Sabu in the car and get suspended for 30 days. And then the big show is going to take your title from you. That was wild. I didn't know what I was doing, but I was
Wow,
like,
you
yo,
you fell right into that one. That is fantastic. That's good stuff. Who
yeah.
who else, who else but Mike Jackson?
Hey, man, I do what I do. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? But
yeah,
no, but seriously, like, who will win? Who will win?
yeah. Of course, this will be the week where it's like, wow, we ran into a tie, and so now we have to figure out watch the people happen. I'll be
Oh,
really. I'm calling Charles. We'll call Charles for that one.
nah, you know what's going to happen? It's going to be Batista and Cena eliminating themselves. And then he who will not be named comes out there and ruins his quads. Hey, why is he not getting up? He'll finish the match. Do it over.
Oh man, but man, again, thanks for everybody participating so far. We are at the end of the road, so be sure to vote this coming week for the best beat as voted by you guys. Sheets or High versus the Penthouse Elevator. Um, but to keep up with what we got going on, be sure to subscribe over to YouTube, StarCHaser Central. You can also follow us on Twitter, StarCH Central. You can also follow us on our individual pages. I'm Stick Around 54, STIK Around 54 on Twitter and Instagram. Mike, where can they find you, buddy?
On Instagram, the Mike Jackson, Mike Jackson, sorry. I buffered a little bit. On Twitter, you already know. Mike D Jackson, Mike D Jackson, 1D, 2 E's, holla at me. Make sure you guys are following Charles on Twitter. Man, I'm so high. No, I'm fucking not.
Woo, 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 woo.
No, but make sure you guys follow Charles on Twitter at Charles Hamilton. Make sure you're subscribed to him on his YouTube page at the talented Mr. Hamilton. We just recently had somebody that asked, "Hey man, how's Charles? Is he all right? Is he good?" It's like, yeah, man, he's still around, alive and kicking well. I told them make sure you're actually following him on YouTube, subscribe. And literally that day, Charles went live and started doing beats and whatnot. So
And he was in the live, talking to Charles, whatever. So it was pretty cool.
yeah, so it's like, yeah, make sure you guys are subscribed if you're not, because you literally never know when Charles is going to come out with a new song or go on live. And then later on that day, he went live again. So you
Yep.
never know. Last but not least, I know we haven't talked about it in a while, or he hasn't posted much of it in a while, but still, check out the blog, answerthehamilton.blogspot.com. There it is.
As we come to an end to our half and half episodes, be sure to let us know what you want us to review. We will have reviews coming up. We got a couple backlog things that we can kind of post if we need to. But we still want to record some new stuff. So Let us know what you want us to listen to. We plan on doing some more fan episodes, fan guest episodes too as well. So just let us know, over on our socials or on YouTube, wherever you feel comfortable, or the Discord. If you're part of that, you can also go there and let us know. Um, but yeah, just excited for the end of this tournament and seeing what the future holds. Mike, anything for the people before we head out?
Just the usual, man. Thank you all for checking out another episode. Also, this is we were not expecting this to be this long of an episode. So I'll say for anyone that's still here right now,
Mhm.
thank you for checking out this episode because this is definitely like I can say a parental advisory type of episode. It's like this is a real and this is what we're about. Regardless, we gotta talk about Charles Hamilton, the good, the bad, everything in between. But also as Star Chasers, we all have to have this conversation.
Mhm.
You can't run away from it. We have to all just say, hey, this is how I feel about it. This is how I feel about it. Or this is how I react to it. So thank you guys for listening. And please make sure you let us know how you feel about this project, the brackets, all that, especially this project. What are your thoughts on it? Please comment below, or like I said, even in the Discord, because there's conversations in the Discord. I really want to know what everyone thinks. So thank you guys for listening, watching, and continue to listen on with us and watch and let's keep it going.
Yeah, man. Like Mike said, man, we're very much like the Street Profits. The Street Profits are up, and we want the smoke. We're
I
logging
guess so.
out of, huh?
I guess so. I guess so.
We're logging out of StarChaser Central Podcast, man, where we always encourage you to follow your dreams.
And reach for the stars.